President Biden on the world stage, hosting a NATO summit in Washington. Ukraine is high on the agenda, but the focus will also be on the president with the questions about his campaign and his future. Joining us now is top White House national security spokesman John Kirby. John, thanks as always for joining us. Let's talk about those questions surrounding President Biden's appearance here at the NATO summit. Are you concerned they're going to overshadow the business of the summit?
No, not at all, George. And there's an awful lot of business to be done at this summit. You mentioned Ukraine. They're also going to talk about defense industrial base capabilities and improving that. They're going to talk about how the alliance itself can improve its own deterrence and defense capabilities. There's an awful lot of the agenda. The president's very excited about this summit, hosting it here in Washington, starting tonight in the same auditorium where the NATO treaty was first signed by Harry Truman. There's a lot of work to get done. But
as you know, there have been a lot of reports recently about concerns among NATO officials who have encountered the president in the last several months. How will he reassure them?
I think just the fact that this summit is happening here in Washington, that these leaders are coming, says a lot about how much they value American leadership on the world stage and how much they respect and are grateful for the return of that leadership that President Biden has ushered in the last 3.5 years. They constantly talk to him everywhere he goes about how important what he's been doing is, not just to the alliance, but to our partnerships around the world, and how critical it is, particularly in supporting Ukraine. Without the United States and without our leadership, without the leadership he has shown, it's hard to imagine that Ukraine would have been able to hold off Russia for as long as they have.
And what can you tell us about the big announcements coming on Ukraine?
I think you're going to see some announcements with respect to air defense in particular. I don't want to get ahead of it, George, but right now, clearly, and you can look at the attack over the weekend where now 46 people have been killed in Ukraine, that Russia continues to bombard their cities with missiles and drones. They need air defense capabilities. You're going to see the allies step up to that need. You're going to see the allies step up to what we call bilateral security agreements for longer-term defense needs for Ukraine for whenever and however this war ends. And you're also going to see a very strong reaffirmation from the alliance about the fact that NATO is going to be in Ukraine's future. They will become a NATO ally at some point, and laying out a little bit more specifically what the path to that membership is going to look like.
Finally, I want to ask you about the situation in the Middle East. It seems like one step forward, two steps back on a possible ceasefire. Where do things stand right now?
There's a team in Cairo, including the CIA director, Bill Burns, as well as the senior director for the Middle East here at the NSC, Brett McGurk. They're negotiating with our partners, trying to get this over the finish line. I don't know that I would describe it as one step forward, two steps back. I mean, we are close here. We think that these gaps are narrow and certainly bridgeable, and that's what we're going to try to get done.
John Kirby, thanks for your time.